Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's racing time here in the trucks. It's Bristol Dirt, baby, and it's time to have a great time of racing. It's the Signing Day Sports Bristol Dirt Race here tonight. My name is Sam Dyer. I'll be commentating throughout all tonight's featured races. It's going to be a long one. We've got 4 heats for these drivers to figure out where they're going to be placed for the 100-lap featured race. Like we said, qualifying is just coming to an end. Jeff Green, top of the board. Then you also got Alexander Van de Sant, second, who won last week at the Signing Day Sports Sonoma Challenge race last week, road course racing. But tonight's a completely different beast. It's dirt track racing, and Heat 1 about to get underway. You've got your pole sitter, Jeff Green, who put down one of the fastest laps. These drivers are going to be going through a lot tonight, and it is going to be a lot of racing. Like we said, 4 heats, and out of those 4 heats, it's 15 laps. Cautions are going to be there. Caution laps are going to count, so you're going to want as much time on track as possible to make some moves. Drivers here on iRacing, they've gotten a little bit of a feel. This whole entire week has been dirt track racing for both the trucks and for the Cup car. So experience certainly has been here for drivers if you've had time to put it in. So drivers are excited, but here's your 13 drivers. You've got Jeff Green, Hank Steinmiller. You've also got Brian Onson, as well as Chad Thornquick, Vincent Isabella, Dylan Jones, Scott Crump, Brody Moore, Kendall Noah Player, Michael Goodman, Blaine Barney, as well as Austin Beer and Jacob Palmer. Those are your 13 drivers here for heat number 1. Like I said, it is going to be a long night. All these heats, 15-lap races. Then we got a B main that's going to be 15 laps to see who's going to be making it into that. And then a 100-lap featured race. A total of 175 laps that these drivers are going to be running here tonight. It's going to be fun. Do you want to give a big thanks to Jordan Owens, who's going to be behind the camera and giving you guys all the amazing action. His drivers are getting lined up and ready to go. Heat 1 is going to be a little bit of a testing ground for these drivers. As the heat races go on, the track is going to evolve per heat. So what drivers are running here in Heat 1 will not be the same for Heat 2, 3, or 4. So the drivers have to take in a little mental thought. For Heat 1, you're driving to see if you're going to get the pole position and also how the track is going to react for those first 15 laps. Every 15 laps, this track is really going to evolve, change up, and the grip levels are going to change. You're going to be searching for that moisture. For the first I would say 15 laps, drivers are going to aim for the inside, and then you're going to move up to the high line, run around where the outside wall is, and then about 30 to 40 laps into this run, you're going to see drivers try to go back to the inside line, try to find the moisture down there again, because this whole entire track is going to get extremely thick, slick, and difficult to ride. Pace car is off. Jeff Green gets them stacked up and ready to go. A little bit of a hesitation as now the trucks get roaring, and we are green for heat number 1 here for the Signing Day Sports Bristol Dirt Race. It's go time. It's up front. It's going to be Jeff Green getting a great launch for himself. Onson's going to be following as well. Side-by-side racing for 3rd place. You got to be careful where you're going to be placing yourself. But coming through the high side, that's going to be Hank Steinmiller getting a great run for himself. But that's going to be Dylan Jones, who's going to be trying his best in 6th place, really not able to make the best move possible. Remember, the top 10 drivers automatically get locked into the next round. And currently, it's Brody Moore, Michael Goodman, and Jacob Palm that are struggling right now and don't look like they're going to be making it through. But still, great side-by-side action for 4th place, as you still see Thornquist just trying to pull away, but he's got in Isabella as well as Jones trying to hound down as Jeff Green continues to pull away, as a little bit of contact being made for the drivers that are battling for the 6th place position. You got to be careful where you're placing your truck, but man, everyone is staying as close as they can. 3 wide action for that 5th place position. Isabella looks like he's about to get through, but Scott Crump able to make a little bit of contact. You got to be careful as they're still 3 wide behind them. This is what dirt racing gives you, 3 wide action, and drivers still able to go forward. Got to be careful as these laps continue to tick away. You still can run anywhere on track, but the inside line is where you want to place your truck if you want to be moving forward. Here with this dirt system that iRacing has brought, it's allowed the drivers to really try to find and hone their skills. A lot of it is full throttle and just sending it as side by side. This is for 6th place, and Scott Crump trying to hold on as he is really being pressured by the 00, as Barney just making a great move by the 00 on the inside and continues to just try to make that outside line work, as that was Crump that was on the inside, able to make this charge to the forward. These drivers continue to battle along, but if we drop back to the battle for 10th place, these are the drivers that are trying to lock themselves in. Right now, Jones, who was running up for 4th place, he's being challenged by Michael Goodman. Goodman, he's been running around that 12th position. Now he sees a potential chance to put himself locked in to the featured race later tonight. 100-lap featured race, it's going to be a long one, but they certainly are keeping it close here. And these drivers continue to battle strong. We'll move up in front of this battle for 10th place, as it looks like Kendall Noah Player and Austin Beer, they're now out really fighting it out for a second there, but Kendall Noah Player slipping up slightly and giving Beer a chance to run away with this thing. Speaking of running away, it looked like Jeff Green was doing that, but back up front, it's Onsen. He's catching back up. Hank Steinmiller following suit, and this is where that track really is evolving for these drivers, because they got to figure out where to place themselves if they want to have the most speed. Down below looked like it was the fastest place, and that's where Onsen's finding that speed. Got to be careful not to make contact, though. You don't want to be putting a car up into that outside wall, and that's, here at Bristol later on in the race, we'll really have to watch out for that wall. There are certain points on track where you can get a slight advantage, and the admins are going to be watching out for that. But for now, Onsen really trying to send it down to what would be considered the low line on asphalt. Here, dirt racing anywhere on track is really going to be useful. Jeff Green just staying with that middle to high line, and that's where he's going to be feeling the most comfortable, and where drivers are going to slowly merge up to. In these first 15 laps, really anywhere is quick. As long as you can get your truck centered and pointing straight on these straightaways, you're good. You're going to be making a lot of headway. That's what we're seeing from Hank Steinmiller. Here comes Onsen once again, trying to dig deep, just not close enough to really make that slide job work, and now giving an opportunity. Here comes Hank Steinmiller to the inside, trying to do a slide job move. Looks like he's got it, but Onsen with the crossover move to try to get right back into it. 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. Jeff Green doing a great job as he continues to try to pull away. Contact there for 2nd place. Onsen, he's got to be careful as Steinmiller finally secures 2nd place position and tries to pull away. The battle for 9th place, also a close action, but white flag in the air. Jeff Green able to pull away, and coming around turn number 2, a great run by the 38 machine, who had the pole position, going to continue to do well for himself. Our top 10, they're all split up perfectly. They're going to be making it through, and just like that, Jeff Green winning heat number 1 and grabbing that pole position. Hank Steinmiller, Onsen, Thornquist, Isabella, Crump, as well as Beers, Barney, Kendall Noah Player, and Jones moving on to the featured race. That's going to mean more Goodman and Palmer have to race their way in, either through have to go through that B main, which there are going to be a lot of hungry drivers to fight through that. It's going to be a crazy one, as drivers now getting set up for heat number 2. Huge thanks to C2 Freighting. They are a major sponsor for us, as well as Richmar Florist, and our big sponsor for tonight, Signing Day Sports. Thank you so much. Signing Day Sports allows you, the high school, college student, to really show yourself off. Signing Day Sports allows players to show off their own skills and try to be their own real scout, throwing themselves out there. You got you got hundreds of colleges and high schools trying to promote their players, and Signing Day Sports, one of the best ways to do it. Go look them up for more information. Thank you so much for Signing Day Sports for being here for these races as the drivers get ready to go, rolling here for heat number 2. Heat number 2 has drivers that were, not the quickest of some of them, but second fastest for qualifying. That's going to be Alexander Van de Saan. Then following suit down below that, you got Zach Evans, Matthew Weeks, Rishaw Klosla, as well as Ryan Barbary, as well as Chuck Sweeting, David Westergreen, Dustin Doerr, as well as Andrew Rucker, Richard Hines, Chad Frankenfield, and Chris Worrell. And these drivers getting ready, they got to see a little bit of a preview from heat number 1, and that's what these heat races give you, a little bit of a sneak peek of how these races are going to go, how aggressive have people been. It's going to be fun to see. Again, huge thanks to Jordan Owens behind the camera, getting all the great shots of this race that's going on. It has been a wild day trying to get all these drivers set up for this one. Real life NASCAR, they weren't able to race today at Bristol. It's a lot of rain and flooding going on there, but luckily we've got Bristol Dirt here on the virtual side of things, and we get to have fun watching these trucks rip it up here on the dirt side of Bristol. Pace truck pulls off. Alexander Van Desant won last week at Sonoma. Can he win on a completely different surface and short track racing? We'll see as the 97 takes off. And it's all side-by-side racing for about third on back. You go back to around 6th place. You got a car up into the wall. You got to be careful up there. You don't want to be wall riding. It's just continuing to drop back. That was Dewar that was going to be stuck there. But so far, up front, keeping it clean and green. But 3 wide action for this 8th place. You don't want to be stuck in the middle. And that's where we're seeing a lot of these drivers right now. And this is the type of dirt racing we're going to be seeing. 4 wide coming out of the corner. Holy cow, and it's looking like it's going to be David Westergreen, who was second car on the outside of that 4 wide action, as they still stay 4 wide, almost 5 wide for a second. Westergreen continues to roll on. Here comes Chuck Sweeting on the complete outside. All these drivers still in contention. Chad Frankenfield now has been dropped back to 10th place. All these drivers are trying to make sure that they are inside of the top 10, make it into the featured race, and they are running as hard as they can. Luckily, there's enough grip on the course where they can race this hard and still be able to survive. Alexander Van Desant, he has pulled away to a 1.9 second lap lead over Zach Evans. And you're just saying it here. Still 2-3 wide action. As, oh boy, you got to be close there. Westergreen certainly trying to hold on to this truck, but it just looks like on the outside, having a little bit of trouble here. You're seeing those cars on the inside. They could just get a better entry and are carrying that speed so much better. Got to be careful. Chris Weller going to be having a lot of pressure. That of Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield in that orange and green machine. He's certainly trying his best right now. And he is on that 10th place position, so he's got to be careful. Hines and Westergreen, they're trying to push Frankenfield out of that spot. As we move up, this battle that you're seeing right now, this is all for 3rd position. Now Matthew Weeks, he's got to be careful as Coslaw, as well as Berber. He's going to be trying his best. Ryan's going to be pushing it to the inside. Got to be careful. That inside line, the longer the run goes on, it's just not going to be where the speed's at. A lot of the drivers are running middle. Oh my goodness. Dustin Dewar, you gotta be careful. You can't just use someone else as a brake. You gotta crank that wheel just a little bit more. It's now giving the 07 a chance to go on the inside, pushing Dewar back. And Dewar came in with such heavy speed that damage, it could have hurt his engine. That's something that's gotta be really important here. So continuously, Chuck Sweeting, Whirl, as well as Dewar, continuing to just wail on one another. Oh boy, gotta be careful with these drivers. There's just so much pressure to get into the heat. And there's only one spot that can be grabbed in that B main that we're going to have. But, looks like we're getting calls from the admins. It sounds like drivers are actually, all of them, making it into the featured race. So now it's just where you're going to be positioning yourself for these races. And just pulling away is Alexander Van Desant. No one else is really even close as the 97 continues to pull away. Really, all the good racing action that's going on has to be for that 4th place position, as Matthew Weeks still heavy pressure from the 29, 46, and everyone else behind him, as they're about 3-4 wide at times. And this is what dirt race gives you, the chance to really put your truck somewhere, hope that it sticks. And for some of these guys, they have a lot of dirt experience. For others, they've never touched dirt in their life. They've all stayed on asphalt, and this is a completely new animal. As you see, Kozlov going to be stuck in the middle, going to be bumped a little bit there, and now has to worry about Worley. He's going to be giving him a little bit of a bump there, dropping back, but Chuck Sweeting able to make his charge forward. Matthew Weeks still holding on in 4th place, just watching all of this carnage behind him. Weeks goes high, a little bit of contact there from Dewar into Kozlov. Kozlov gets spun around, and that right there brings out our first caution of the night, as we were 2 laps to go in heat number 2. And oh boy, that was the question of yellow flags. Was told that they do count. And I'm wondering, are they going to be making this green-white checkered? They are already have given it, and this is their 1 attempt at a green-white checkered for these drivers. And we saw there, Dewar and Kozlov making that contact, but you're wanting to get the best positioning you can for the featured race. That means these drivers are going to be extremely aggressive on trying to put themselves ahead of everyone else. I've touched the dirt at Bristol throughout the week in the truck side of things, and really the only place I felt the most comfortable had to be first or second place. Those were the places where you really were able to pull away from the rest of the field. Not a lot of chaos going on like we've been seeing. If you're in the middle or back of the pack, you got drivers trying to make as many bold moves to get up front as possible as everyone gets stacked up and ready to go. What a wild race this has been, and we got so caught up into it, I actually forgot to say thank you so much to our primary sponsor of the Trucks League. That's Old Testament Firearms for this truck series. Thank you so much, Old Testament Firearms, for doing and helping us with all of the truck series works by being our primary sponsor. Thank you so much. And also for Richmar Florist, one of the biggest florist racing sponsors out there, and one of the best sponsors to have, in my opinion, if you're going to be looking for a racing team, as everyone is getting stacked up and ready to go. You're going to be pacing for a couple more laps. But oh boy, Alexander Van de Sande certainly didn't get just finished short to Jeff Green's time in qualifying, and based off this heat, one of those drivers you got to watch out for if you're going to be having a great run himself. Excited for how this race tonight is going to be crazy. 100-lap featured race. I've been watching a couple of leagues doing 100-lap featured races, and it gets crazy. The first about 15 to 30 laps, everyone's playing it nice. You can get a decent green flag run here or there, but then after 30 laps, the track is so worn out, you're struggling to figure out how to stay off the outside wall, and some drivers are trying to risk the inside. That's when we start to see a lot of cautions come out. So expecting this featured race, after about 30 laps, it is going to be very tough on these drivers. Really, the drivers that can hold on to a very slick machine and understand throttle control, they're going to be the ones up front. And also, you're going to need a lot of luck to avoid some of these wrecks and carnages. Pace truck is getting ready to go. This is your one green white checkered here for heat number 2. Green flag out in the air. Alexander Van de Sande getting a fabulous start for himself. For second place, though, it's going to be Zach Evans, struggling at the moment, getting completely blitzed there by Matthew Weeks. Weeks has been consistent. He continues to run on. Andrew Rucker going to be getting a little bit of trouble into the outside wall. He's got to be careful. Also, don't want to use that outside wall too much. Admins could be calling it, and some contact being made, but we stay green. White flag in the air for heat number 2. Alexander Van de Sande continues to pull away as the rest of the field, a little bit of bumps here or there, as that's the 46 who gets a little bit involved, but still stuck on the outside wall. That's Andrew Rucker that continues to drop back. David Westergreen going to be able to make a couple of moves, trying to send it in, but gets a little bit too deep, and now going to be costing himself. But Alexander Van de Sande crossing the line will get the win of heat number 2. Matthew Weeks, Zach Evans, Ryan Larry as well going to be moving on. Those are your top 4. Heat number 3. Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting one. Gerald Campbell, as well as Harrison Talon, Tony Emerson, as well as Alec Balvance, Tyler Fody, one of our favorites whenever we come to short tracks. He's going to be someone to watch out for, as well as Gerald Campbell and Mark Keller, Keller as well, sorry. And then we got Kyle Wilkery, as well as Tyler Dixon, Smeltzer, Sickle, Mick Coral, as well as Dart, going to be your lineup here. 12 drivers for heat number 3. And just got word that heat number 3 is actually going to be our last heat of the night before we go to the B main after this. Still, same rules, 15 laps, caution laps will count if needed. And these are the drivers that are hunting a seat. If you win this race, you get into 3rd place. If you get 2nd place, you should be placed in a 4th position, I believe. I believe they snake it on where they're going to be placing these drivers. So a little bit of stressfulness for these guys. You want to finish up front. Gerald Campbell and Talon in the best spots for themselves. And you might be seeing these trucks, wiggling a little bit. When they get to around 32 miles per hour, up to about 42 miles per hour, just in those spots with these trucks, they just start to wiggle around. Their trucks just do not like running that slow. They want to pick up speed, and once you pick up speed, you got full control of your truck. Most of the time, there's moments where you'll find yourself getting a little bit sideways and completely drifting it around this whole entire course because you're just fighting with the wheel to get your truck straight at some way. but excited to see heat number 3 about to get underway. We've already ran down the lineup. It's exciting how these drivers are going to be really getting through all of this. And once again, we've got ourselves the B main immediately after this, and then we're going to be finding ourselves with a 100-lap featured race. Pace truck is off. Gerald Campbell getting us underway. Talon going to be following suit. Got a great start for the 51 truck. Driver that's dropping back, though, that's going to be Anderson. As they're going to be 3 wide for 3rd place. Up into the wall, that's going to be Valvance. Valvance cannot be in the wall for that long. Also, the battle for the lead is starting to heat up as it looks like Talon going to be staying on the high side. But 4th wide for that back there, battling for 5th and 6th position. And just side by side all the way around the track. Campbell trying to work that inside lane. It's not going to work. Harrison Talon takes the lead. But this battling that's going for 3rd on back, this is where all of, like, you could call it a hornet's nest so far, where drivers are trying to place themselves, getting extremely loose and able to save it. Oh boy, that was the 08, I believe, that got completely loose out of there. Oh boy. Actually, that was the 08. Mark Keeler, who gets out of shape, somehow saving it. That's what these drivers are going to be dealing with. You put a little bit too much wheel into these trucks entering these corners. You're trying to get it sideways, so we'll arch around. Keeler's just continuously putting a little bit too much wheel into these corners, and it is hurting the 08. You're trying to get it sideways so it will turn, and if you let off the gas, you are going straight. So if you put too much wheel into it, you're practically going full throttle all the way around this course at all times, unless you're trying to whoa up because you're going to hit the outside wall or you're going to hit someone else. And these drivers are going to really have to focus on where they're going to be putting themselves. Looks like Sickler as well as Darter's really having issues back in 11th and 12th place. Not really drivers that we're going to be focusing on most of the time, but you're seeing Dixon as well as Ederson just absolutely pounding off of one another, and that's the 72 truck that is just getting wailed on, continues to drop back, was up in that 4th place position, and now it's dropped all the way down to 8th, could lose to 9th, but luckily on the outside, getting that momentum, really getting the launch out of the straightaway. They're still just on one another. Wellgreen's going to be in the 37 machine. He's trying to get by the 08 truck. And as you can see on there on screen, Harrison Talon might have started in 2nd place. Thought maybe Gerald Campbell was going to pull away with this thing, but this 51 machine has just hit every single mark, continues to pull away, running about 4/10 faster than the rest of the field, which is incredible. One of the fastest trucks out here and continues to prove it time after time. I mean, this setup seems a little bit different from what the drivers were running in the official race, so... or that everyone's just taking it so slowly. It just seems like everyone out here not completely full throttling, sending it, just being very conservative. And you know, some drivers, they've been out here practicing all weekend and all week long trying to set up for this race. And others, they kind of just set up and said, you know what, we'll take whatever we need. Heat number 3 certainly has gotten spread out. Not as much, hard at racing from the back end of the field. The closest action we're seeing is for 8th place. That's where these drivers are really keeping it close. Wheeler Green, Edmondson's also keeping it close in that 72 truck. His battle for 8th place continues to go on. As gotta be careful. Our leader, soon to have one of the things you don't really talk about much at heat races, lap traffic. That is something that got to be careful of, as this battle now for 7th place. Still a 3-horse race between these 3 trucks of the 08, 37 and 72. It looks like Will Green's going to be stuck on the high side. Also, Edmondson's going to be throwing it really low, trying to do a slide job. Not going to be working out just perfectly for himself, but enough to block out that of the 37. And now he's going to be fighting right back, but just need a little bit more speed if you're really going to be sending it on these crossover moves. Speaking about crossover moves, our leader has hit lap traffic, and this is the most frustrating part of dirt racing, is because lap traffic, they don't know where to place themselves. The track evolves so much that it's not really a safe place to stay on the bottom unless you're on the apron or even run on the high side, but it's going to look like Talon on the outside lane telling the lap car stay low. White flag in the air for heat number 3. And Harrison Talon continues to pull away. He's going to be bumping off the wall. That's going to be something these admins got to be keeping their eyes on. If you bump that wall too many times, it does give you a slight advantage coming off these corners because it straightens your truck out and gets you moving forward. Harrison Talon, winner of heat number 3. Gerald Campbell having a little bit of pressure from Tyler Fody, but he'll finish in second place. Tyler Fody in third. Atkin in fourth. Dixon coming close behind him, and then Smeltzer going to be coming out into sixth place, and the rest of the field placing themselves all around. Weller-Green able to pass by, but oh boy, it's featured race time, and it's exciting to see how these drivers are going to be stacked up and ready to go. But before we get going here, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back for the rundown of where these drivers are going to be. We're going to do a quick commercial break with Richmar Flores Racing Team.
Richmar Florist makes every day a special day, from weddings and large events to that little something for any occasion. Richmar Florist has the perfect floral expression, and they're open online 24/7 at richmarflorist.com. Everywhere, every day. Richmar's 2 retail locations offer a fantastic selection of floral creations, gifts, and home decor. Book your free consultation in our showroom for your special event needs, and visit us online at richmarflorist.com today.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The grid's getting lined up and ready to go. Huge thanks to our main sponsor of Signing Day Sports for the Bristol race here tonight. Signing Day Sports is a platform that allows parents, players to control their own recruiting, and launched back in 2020. It currently has 20,000 players on the platform. Signing Day also is for recruiting and programming management for over 500 colleges, 700 high schools, in addition of Signing Day, where they're going to be adding baseball, softball, soccer, as well as basketball in the upcoming months. Here's your quick rundown as you've been seeing it go through this field. It is going to be a whale of a time trying to figure out where they're going to be placing themselves. But up front, Jeff Green feeling comfortable. He's got Alexander Van Asson and Harrison Talon. Both those drivers looked extremely quick in their heats. They just pulled away from the rest of the field. Jeff Green might have to feel a little bit of pressure here as the trucks are lined up, ready to go. 100 laps here at Bristol. Oh boy, this is going to be a fun one. Again, my name is Sam Dyer, running the cameras and being awesome, hopping in last moment. That's going to be Jordan Owens. Thank you so much for rocking and rolling up in the booth. But tonight, it's race time. It is time for the Sign Day Sports Bristol Dirt Race here for the great racers of the Elite Old Testament Firearms Truck Series. Pace car's ready to pull off. There it goes. 100 laps here at Bristol. Jeff Green leads the way, and green flag out in the air, holding them up just a little bit, but Alexander Van Asson getting the best launch that he possibly could go. These drivers, for the first 15 to 30 laps, the track's going to be at its primest. You can run anywhere, but immediately it's going to be Van Asson stuck on the outside and going through the middle and dropping back quick. Got to be careful for yourself. I believe that's Tyler Fody that continues to drop back. Jeff Green, great launch for himself, but you got to watch out. Harrison Talon, he was looking quick for himself. Also, Hank Steinmiller as up front. They continue to be beating and banging off one another. Steinmiller gets into Van Asson, and Van Asson able to continue to make his move forward, but it's Harrison Talon up to second place. Drivers all throughout the field are going to be beating and banging. They're almost 3-4 wide, back around 20th position, and they are not letting up. It looks like it's going to be the first about 10 cars, 10 trucks that are in line, and then they are 2-3 wide, back from 10th on back, as Alex Valvance continues to be having his woes. But up front, continuing to be Jeff Green, Harrison Talon. They pull away as following suit. It's going to be Alexander Van Asson, Hank Steinmiller, Gerald Campbell, and Campbell's now under fire from Olsen. But our top four, they just seem to be on a different level, pulling away from the rest of the field. As the rest of the pack, they are getting jammed around the top 20 spot. They are really getting into that outside wall. Admins are going to have a hard time here tonight trying to keep up with all the action. As you know, Bristol Dirt Racing, it is a small course. It's a half a mile of dirt action. These drivers are just whipping it around, trying to do the best they can up front. Alec Valvance in that 11th position. He's going to be trying to hold off Vincent Isabella, as well as Crump and Sweeting. and drivers just looking to see. Everyone is keeping it green so far, doing a great job, and you're hoping to stay green as long as possible. We're getting now to the lap 7 marker. This is when the track starts to evolve a little bit more. Patience. Also, if you are seeing that you are faster than someone else, that's something that drivers have to be aware of. Not to completely run someone over in front of you. You got to be waiting. 100 laps is a long time. Yes, it ticks away quickly here at Bristol, but you got to know that there is time to wait and be patient. As really up front, Jeff Green pulling away. He's got to be concerned, though. He's coming up to the tail end of the pack. Lap traffic soon to be an issue for our lead trucks. They got to be careful. This is terrifying for them. There's no fast repairs. If you get caught up in another incident, you got to repair that underpacing, or just go straight to pit road and caution out, as we're having issues with one of the cars all the way in the back. It looks to be Rucker, others involved in this thing. Smeltzer, Stickler, Palmer, Rucker, all the Ers involved in this one. I think also Moore might have been involved in it. As we are going to take a quick replay at how this all went down. Man, these drivers just, you got stuck in a little bit of contact. Just nowhere to go, as you're going to be seeing here. But coming off the corners, just bouncing off one another, hard in the inside wall, coming up, it's collecting the 11. And yeah, I mean, that's just dirt racing in a nutshell, where you're trying to move up as quick as you can and slight just jabs, taking people out. That was primarily Rucker that got involved in that one, and that's on lap 10. And now I'm concerned, because if we're having a caution this early on, the track is just going to get more and more worn down, and the more and more we get concerned about how this racing is going to happen for these drivers. A lot of cars in the back going to be coming in and getting repairs done for themselves. That's going to be Brody, Moore, Rucker, and Smeltzer all coming in to get repairs done. And most likely they're going to be in for a while trying to get repairs done for themselves. And as I say that, though, Rucker and Smeltzer able to get back out on track, and it looks like Brody Moore went into the wrong pit stall, and that's also something that I haven't talked about either. There are 2 different pit lanes for these drivers. You've got your backstretch pit lane and your front stretch pit lane, and if you go into the wrong one, you got to go all the way through, loop it back around, and get into the other one, and you are just wasting time by making that simple mistake. And it's split up 20-20. So if you qualified in the top 20, you are going to be placed in that front stretch pit lane. If you were in the back 20, you'll be on the back stretch. That's where your pit stall is. And so these drivers certainly had to pick and choose where they are going to be putting themselves. Michael Goodman also going to be coming into the pits. These drivers, they're going to have to make one pit stop. I think that they can go for about 60 laps or so on fuel. I could be wrong on that. But these drivers, certainly fuel is come in around lap 20. You should be good to make it to the end or so. It's going to be close for these drivers on when they want to come in. Most of the time, it's all about fuel. Tire wear is not a factor yet here on Bristol Dirt. iRacing is going to get to that at some point, but right now, not an issue. We just had our first DNF come in, though. Andrew Rucker came back into pit road, officially saw how much damage the 64 had. It's not worth getting back out there on track. Andrew Rucker, our first DNF of the evening. Drivers are stacking up. Jeff Green, Harrison Talon, and Alexander Van de Son, Hank Steinmiller, Brian Onsen, as well as Gerald Campbell, Fody, Third-Quist, Weeks, and Barari going to be your top 10. Everyone getting stacked up and ready to go for this rest of this 100-lap featured race. We're only coming up to 14 laps into this race. It's going to tick away quickly if we stay green. If we get into caution laps, it is going to be a long time before we can get things going once again. Pace truck is off. Jeff Green on the outside. Waits and finally gets going after getting past the restart zone. Gets a great launch for himself. Steinmiller going to be following his way. And that outside lane is going to be the more and more preferred lane to start if we get a lot of cautions, we got to be worrying about 3, 4 wide, battling back in around 10th position. These drivers really keeping it close in contact up front, as it's going to be Hank Steinmiller making contact with Talon. Talon's still there. And now more contact, as that's going to be Onsen aggressively trying to make his way through. Caution, though, comes out as cars piling up, coming out of 2. And oh no. Oh boy. Edmondson, others involved in this thing, as here is your replay of the carnage. And you're going to see here, it looks like Chad Frickefield just came up to drivers that were stacking up and nowhere to really go for the 15 machine. Trying to get a better look at where this exactly started at. And it looked like it was in front of these guys. Oh man. I believe that's Kendall Noah Player. That was initially that driver that made the contact and got spun around. Yeah, he got turned by Dewar, and then 72 involved as well. It looks like the 72 blew his engine after contact into the rear bumper. Kendall Noah Player. Hate to see that type of contact. And now drivers going to be pick and choosing and when they want to come into the pits. But that was your replay there of caution number 2. And we only got a couple of laps in, and this is what we're expected to see. Jordan, hopefully your seatbelt is fastened and you're ready for a long race, because we are going to be seeing a lot of those types of cautions where drivers just stacking up, getting into one another, and really having trouble slowing down. The more and more the track slicks off, the worse the brakes are. You're slamming on the brakes and your car just continues to slide. There's no grip. The moisture is where you want to put your truck, and if there isn't much moisture on track, you're going to have trouble. I do want to let the audience know there is a stage break, kind of a competition caution for these drivers at the halfway marker of lap 50. When the top 10 all come across the line, caution flag will come out, and then the top 10 will all get bonus points for making it halfway, and most likely when we get to the halfway marker is going to be under caution. I would like to stay in high spirits, but this track has been very tricky for a lot of drivers to stay green, especially with a field of this size. 37 drivers started this race. It is extremely difficult to all stay on course. We have a total of 32 that are still running on track, and the rest are in pits trying to get repairs done to make sure that they continue running, but they're going to go multiple laps down. When you've got about 5 to 6 minutes of repair time, you're going to be going anywhere from 10 to 20 laps down just under pacing, because pacing time is about a minute, almost about 45 seconds to 46 seconds for these drivers, and you're going to be going down a lot of laps. Luckily, these caution laps do count, or tonight would be even longer than expected. The driver's still under yellow, still waiting to see when we're going to be going green once again. And a huge thanks to some of our primary sponsors, like we said, Signing Day Sports, hopping on board for a second week in a row. Huge thanks to them. And then always the Old Testament Firearms for being our primary sponsor of the Truck Series here Sunday night. Do believe that we do have Sunday night off next week, as it will be Easter. I'll confirm that throughout the night. I'm pretty sure next week we do have off, as Pace Truck is off. 80 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. Still a lot of racing action, but Harrison Talon did not get the restart that he wanted, which is going to be backing everyone else up, and that is not good for the rest of the field. They were hoping that they were going to be seeing drivers stay in green, and that is not where you want to be putting yourself. Really tricky situations for the drivers. Once you see a lane just not go, 3-4 wide action. Vincent Isabella sending it completely onto the low side, but they're going to be 4 wide, battling in front of him, trying to see who's going to be getting that 6th place position. As up into the wall, that is going to be Thorquist. Thorquist is going to be all right, but in front of him, Onson's going to be now bumped around as they continue to jostle back and forth. Pinball machine, we are on as trucks continuously bobble and bounce off one another. Vincent Isabella once again going to be caught up in that one as they're jostling, trying to make sure they don't go into pit lane or into the barrels. They continue to bounce off one another. It just continues to drop back around 17th position. They are still 3 wide at 4 wide at times, and they are continuing to get crazy up in here. Jordan, good luck trying to keep up with all this. It is wild everywhere on track. The only secured spot is up front, where Jeff Green has lost that position to Alexander Van Desan, trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Side by side for 10th place, though, as Whirl as well as Sweeting, they are still jostling around one another. Not surprised to see that. They have been on top of one another for a lot of this race, and then he dropped behind them. Still 2 wide action. Vincent Isabella as well as Zach Evans, they are leading a train of trucks that are just revving to go, but they are being stalled out because right now, Evans as well as Isabella are kind of acting like a blocker, not allowing anyone to go anywhere, because the more that they try to block the inside and the outside, the more they are woeing everyone up, and the more that our leaders are going to have to worry about lap traffic as we still stay green. Alexander Van Zon pulling away. Last week's winner at Sonoma, such a different beast coming to here at Bristol on the dirt. Impressive to see that everyone is still stable, but caution comes out as I say that, and it looks like Hank Steinmiller, one of the drivers that was up front running well, caught up in this one. Alexander, nope, that was Alec Balvance, excuse me. Balvance just came in with a head of steam. That's what's going to be bringing out this caution here. And just, oh man, just nowhere to go. Onsen as well, a little bit collected in that one. Oh, excuse me, no, that was Rishak Kozlov that was caught up in that one. There you see him, the man who made the pass that might be the race-winning pass this early on in the race. Alexander Van Zon in the lead. It sounds like no one's going to be penalized for that one, and I think really race control, they're going to be very lenient on giving EOLs to drivers, understanding this is extremely difficult for the drivers to really hold the inside. If it's a blatant just someone did not even try to touch the brakes, I think that's when we're going to see EOLs for wrecks happening. But early on in this race, Jordan, I believe we do have another commercial to send to our viewers, and we'll be right back with more dirt action after this commercial break.
February 15th, 2021. Chapter 2 begins. Redemption. A new beginning. Continued success. Friendships, rivals, fights, heartbreak, sorrow, and joy. The book will write itself, page by page. Along for the thrill ride. From the beaches of Daytona, cornfields of Iowa, those yard of bricks in Indiana, that 4/10 of a mile dirt track in southwest Pennsylvania, honky tonks in Nashville. Finish it off in the bright lights of Las Vegas. Full throttle, wide open. When we hit the final page in Chapter 2, there will only be one driver we call champion. So who's it going to be? The Erska Belly Up Sports Series starts Monday, February 15th on Belly Up Sports TV.
Thank you so much to all of our amazing sponsors. Erska, one of those great leagues that you've got to check out. Pace car lights are off. We're going this time by, and it's Alexander Van Zon, Jeff Green, Harrison Talon, Gerald Campbell, and Tyler Fody, your top 5. Fody's been making a great charge, put himself up front, but we'll see. Does Alexander Van Zon have the speed to make that outside lane work? Green flag up in the air. Jeff Green did not get going when the green flag waved, and that's going to give Harrison Talon great momentum on the outside, making the pass for second place. Third place, the Wonder Fire, as Jeff Green has now moved all the way back to 5th place as he's got Tyler Fody to his inside. Fody going to be sending it once again, trying to make a move here to make it into 3rd place position, but actually that's Gerald Campbell, that's trying to confirm that pass, but now they're going to be 3 wide for that 5th place position. Jeff Green has to be careful in that outside lane. If someone drifts up in front of him, there could be contact being made as the 07 going to be holding on the inside, and that's going to be Tyler Fody dropping to the outside behind the 38. Continuous action, but it looks like they're spinning behind him possibly as that third quit's getting some more muscle being moved around by Onsen as this is battling for 9th place. Those drivers just are not letting up where they're at, continuously just bouncing off one another and continuously to just keep going as they continue to race on. Absolutely amazing to see where these drivers are at. Gerald Campbell now going to be once again trying to get by Jeff Green, but not able to. Actually going to be losing time and almost losing a spot there to Tyler Fody. And here comes the 07 once again. Worrell is going to be doing his best, trying to slide job, but not going to work as caution comes out behind him. And it looks like that was the 38 of Jacob Palmer. Palmer actually was a side of that one. It looks like actually it was the 08 that initially got spun as he was in 19th position. And it looks like Hank Steinmiller was the one that got him spinning here, as you see on the replay, just completely driven through. And that's the impatience that I was talking about early on in the first 10 laps. These drivers are going to get extremely impatient. Palmer slid hit the cone. Going to ask for a black flag clear after that contact with the cone. Luckily didn't hit the water barrels. That will automatically end your night sometimes with that contact. But the impatience for the drivers, that was around 19th position. They weren't up front. They really wasn't enough space to make a lot of moves forward. And listening to race control, trying to hear, and once again, no EOL going to be given for any of these incidences, just racing incidents where you got drivers trying to go in aggressively. They know that if there wasn't any other cars, they could stick these corners by being that fast and aggressive, but it's just not working out the way that they hoped it would. As Ace car drives by, Alexander Van Desant, Harrison Talon, your top two, Jeff Green in third place, Gerald Campbell and Chris Worrell is going to be in fifth position. And you know what? We're under caution. Let's talk about some of our sponsors, shall we? Huge thanks, like we said, to Old Testament Firearms, as they are one of our primary sponsors. Old Testament Firearms, they pledge to honor God and provision for the quality of their firearms, and everything that they do to give the customers a quality service that is beyond their expectations. Old Testament Firearms, look them up. They are a great service to help you out. Also, big thanks to C2 Freighting, C2 Freights and Resources. If you need something moved and out of the way or moved to a different location, doesn't matter how big, how small, C2 Freights Resources has you. C2 also has EDI, which is also known as electronic data interchange that allows you to actually see where your package is at all times. Make sure that you know where your stuff's going. C2 Freight's Resources, they've got you in your hands. They got your stuff in their hands, and they certainly are going to make sure that it is protected, safe, and goes to where it needs to go. If they need anything moved, look them up. And we've already seen a commercial by them. But once again, got to give a big thanks to Richmar Flores. And the fact that they've really dove into the racing scene by sponsoring race car drivers and just being such an amazing sponsor for all types of racing needs. They've helped out the Elite Racing League so much, and we love Richmar Flores and how amazing they are. They've been and continuously going to be. Pace car lights are off, and we are about to get underway once again. It's up front, like I said, it's Alexander Van Desant going to be trying to take us to the end of this thing as we were inching closer and closer to halfway. Luckily, these caution laps counter be a long day, but Pace Truck pulls off. We're racing to the midway point. Halfway, we're going to be having a competition caution, stage caution, you could say, and those top 10 will get bonus points to help you with your moving forward into this race. Alexander Van Desant doing a great job for himself as he continues to try to pull away from the rest of the field. But Gerald Campbell doing a great job himself, trying to keep it close. And man, are they really rocketing these trucks, trying to just get as much speed out of them as possible. And they continue to just take off. As you're seeing here, side-by-side racing, it continues on. There's Dave Westergreen, who's just trying to make that outside line work. And it's just 3 wide action in front of them. Everyone's just being wadded up, nowhere really to place your truck. As they continue to just race around, and 3 wide action. You got drivers trying to go onto the apron. That's the 54 car contact there, as they're going to be trying to hold on. And you know, those little contacts really are going to be hurting you on the long run, and you got to be careful not to be hurting yourself as much as we just saw there, as they continue to race as hard as they can. A great run for up front for Alexander Van Desant. Middle of the pack, they are just clustered up, nowhere to go, and you don't want to put yourself in a pit lane, but it looks like that might have been where one of the drivers went. It was Zach Evans got pushed into pit road, has to go through, and that's one of the disadvantages of running low on the inside, is you can be shoved right into the apron and into pit lane so easily. Continuously, these drivers just in the middle of the pack, constantly staying close to one another. All the battling is from about 6th on to back. You got 2x2 racing, and drivers trying to figure out where to place themselves, and they are trying to put themselves in the best spot so far. We have had a couple of long green flag runs, considerably long green flag runs, by 7 to 10 laps. And that's probably as long as we might be seeing it, is drivers trying to get used to the track, the way that it's evolving. It certainly is changing every 5 to 10 laps on where you want to go, and that's where we're starting to see a lot more trucks on the high side, bouncing off the wall. You got to be careful. You don't want to utilize the wall too much, or the admins will ding you, and race control could be giving you a black flag, or making the moves too much on the outside. Still, they are wadded up in caution flag. I was expecting to see it. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. This is going to be our lap 50 caution. All I can say is we've got a pile up, and it continues to get worse. And more trucks. I think I counted about 4 trucks with blown engines. Here is your replay that we're trying to get set up for you, and you're going to see this truck just sending it into the corner, and the way the truck reacted there, you can just tell the middle lane is so just used up at this point, too slick, and just turned in way too early, taking themselves out, and many others. Blown engine for that driver as well. Whoo! Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. This is going to be a bad wreck. Like I said, I think I saw about 4 drivers with blown engines. You can add another driver to the official DNF. Tony Emerson, going to be one of those drivers that has parked it with Andrew Rucker, and see how many drivers feel confident that they can just sit and wait this thing out. But your top 10 that are getting bonus point: Alexander Van Gerald Campbell, Harrison Talent, Tyler Fody, Jeff Green, Chris Worrell, as well as Vincent Isabella, Ryan Beverly, as well as Chuck Sweeting. And finally, throwing out your top 10 is Chad Thornquist. And oh boy, where are drivers gonna lie? So many have already been involved in accidents. And really, when you're caught up in wrecks here at Dirt Bristol, as long as your engine is at full power, it doesn't matter what your external looks like. Aerodynamics is not the key. It's about if your 4 wheels can turn and you got full power to fully send it around these corners. And everyone's keeping it pretty simple and clean at the moment. Gerald Campbell, though, who was running up front, coming into the pits, and now it's going to be in the worst spot possible. He's going to be around that 24th position, where all of this carnage has been going down. Not good. Not good at all. Well, Jordan, we're past the halfway marker. These drivers certainly have put on a show for us. We started off with, I believe, we had our 3 heat races, so 45 laps of that, 51 of this. We're almost to 100 laps that have already been ran, but still 50 laps to go for the field here in this featured race. It's been a long night for these drivers. Some of them practicing, some of them just in warm-ups, able to get a little bit of track time. But it has been a crazy season so far for a lot of these drivers. Excited to see where this thing's going to go. Do want to let drivers and the fans know. Thought maybe we're going to have next week off. We don't. Next week we'll still be at Atlanta for the BYRD Racing 175 at Atlanta for 114 laps. And that is going to be a good race to see. Next week is going to be certainly, I think, a smaller field than what we've been seeing, especially with it being with drivers, Easter's coming around. Drivers trying to set up for that. Looks like drivers are still not set up the way that they need to be in the back half of the field, so we have actually been added another lap caution for drivers to be whirling it around. Want to know where drivers lie points-wise? Well, points have certainly been shifted up. It looks like points-wise, Austin Beer and Alexander Van Sant, those are your front 2, as I believe Ryan Lutz no longer is going to be racing, or at least has a one race he did not show up here today. So, a shocker not to see Ryan Lutz, but I think that he had some issues to where he might not be showing up for the rest of the season. And looks like we are going to be going this time by. Drivers are getting set and are ready to go. Alexander Edison, Harrison Talon, Jeff Green, Tyler Fody, and the 46 of Ryan Berry. February is going to be trying to figure out how to get by. Green flag out in the air. And we are green once again. We have passed the halfway marker. We know who the top 10 were that got points. And now it's about racing to the end of this race. Survive and make sure you're up front. Alexander Edison, best place to be. Up front, close to that outside wall, trying to bounce off of it just cleanly enough. Not trying to get too much of an advantage. Got to be careful that you don't get called on it. But when you get this late into a race, everyone is bouncing off of the wall. Everyone is trying to go for that advantage. And so it's hard to police once everyone is doing it. Early in this, about the first 30 laps is when you could be like, hey, don't bounce off the wall. At this point, everything goes. You don't know where you're going to be placing yourself, as you can just see the amount of drivers and where they're trying to place themselves. A little bit of three-wide action here by the 6, and this is battling. It's going on. Yellow flag, though, in front of them. Oh boy, I think that was Kendall Noah player that was involved in it. And oh no. Yeah, there's Kendall Noah player. And others, more blown engines, going to be involved in this thing. We might be lucky if we have 20 drivers left in this race. You're going to see Kendall Noah player in the 94 machine coming in corner number 2. And hey, look, it's Dewar. And once he gets spun, there's nowhere to go. The 23 gets involved. Oh no, hard contact for the 30, and that contact, they just stack up. There's nowhere you can go really once you enter these corners and you're already sideways. You're just doomed. There's no, even if you slam on the brakes are actually causing your truck to turn into the corner. So once you get later on, the brake is your friend, but yikes. Hard contact, a lot of damage. We'll try to get reports of all those drivers. We know for sure that the 23, also for the 94, they are parking it. Believe. I'll take a look and make sure on the drivers that are officially parked. But Dewar is done. 32 machine, after being involved in a lot of carnage, is parked and done. He was given an EOL by race control and decided, you know what, I'm just going to park it for the day. Not going to be a battering ram anymore. And now from 23rd position back to 37, we have ourselves with a lot of... Oh boy, that is how many drivers we have left in this race. From 23rd up, those drivers are still on track trying to get laps put in. Zach Evans, even though he had to come into pit lane after being pushed around, he's still out there. Oh man, Rishaw Kozla, he's rocking his Pikachu Pokemon car. He's got the Pikachu face on, and that's probably what he was feeling after that wreck. Just complete, utter shock that a car was just stopped in front of him, nowhere to go. Oh man, a lot of this race was going to be certainly a crazy one. You really didn't know what we were going to get. You don't know what we're going to get in real life, Bristol, either. So they're going to be trying to get that going once again tomorrow, midday to evening time. See if that track can dry up in time. Hopefully it does. I know a lot of people are excited to watch that one. I am completely going to be in shock if that track still survives after 250 laps and how many cars, trucks and cars are still alive after all the racing that's supposed to happen tomorrow. But here tonight, we're trying to get to lap 100. We're almost there. We're almost 40 laps. We are 40 laps now to go in this thing. Wow, when we go green, it's going to be less than 40 laps to go in this race. It's gone away pretty quick. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Jordan Owens. Jordan, thank you so much for being the man behind the curtain and helping everything happen. Kind of like our Oz of this race. And now we wait and see. Pace truck lights are off. We're going this time by. Everyone is lined up, ready to go. Alexander Van Assange, Jeff Green, Tyler Fody, Harrison Talon, and Barbara is going to be your top 10. Green flag out in the air, and Alexander Van Hassan, he is no longer waiting for that restart zone. He is taking off right when he can do so, and now it's going to be put in side-by-side action for fourth place. We got Jeff Green Worley as well as Talon that did not get a great start for himself, as all these drivers side by side from fifth on back. They're going to be staying like this, trying to figure out where they can go. But Vincent Isabella, got to be careful. You got a little bit too low, put a little bit too much wheel into it, and that's something we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers really trying to survive and making sure that their cars are still alive by the end of this race. And it looked like for a second there, the 8 might have almost put himself into pit road and into the water barrels. This is carnage up front. These drivers, they're trying to figure out how to stay off the outside wall, but the track has evolved so much, and there is so much wear and tear now that you're really stuck to either trying to send it really low and hope that you can arc it, or bounce off the center of the corner's wall, and they are spinning now. Oh no, they are still scattering around, and that was most of the front row as they are parked on the backstretch. As Matthew Weeks, Barney, parking it. Worrell's going to be the primary focus of this carnage. Oh man, yeah, hate to see this type of incident happen. Man, I mean, the more drivers getting blown engines, more we're going to be seeing drivers just parking it. I think Tyler Dixon has parked it. Yeah, he left a bit. Matthew Weeks is now gone. And the fact that this wreck happened in the top 5, top 10 area, no one had anywhere to go, and away they went. Away they went. Well, we're going to figure out where everyone stands, who's still running, who's not, and when we come back, we'll have more racing action as we're coming closer and closer to less than 30 laps to go. We're going to get a quick word here from Richmar Flores, and we will be right back to conclude the rest of this race.
Richmar Florist makes every day a special day, from weddings and large events to that little something for any occasion. Richmar Florist has the perfect floral expression, and they're open online 24/7 at richmarflorist.com. Everywhere, every day. Richmar's 2 retail locations offer a fantastic selection of floral creations, gifts, and home decor. Book your free consultation in our showroom for your special event needs, and visit us online at richmarflorist.com today.
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a crazy race here for the Signing Day Sports Bristol Dirt Race. They continue to clock out Matthew Weeks, Dustin Dorr, Tyler Dixon, Tony Emerson, as well as Andrew Rucker have officially DNF'd and are out of the race. We do have about, I think, 10 drivers on pit road trying to get service done. You got Wester Green, Smeltzer, Moore, Onsen, Walgreen, as well as Sickles, Cano Player. They're trying to get repairs done and getting back out there. Excuse me, Brody Moore is back out on track, but just currently is 19 laps down, able to pass Onsen, moving up to 31st position. Of those that are 20th on back, you've got yourself with Thirdquist, who's up front, Frump, who's up front, Rochelle Kozela, who is involved in a second wreck, Blake Varney involved, and it looks like Thornquist has parked it, being another victim of a DNF. Chris Worrell is going to be putting it back into pit road. I think he might have had a blown engine, and he might be parking it for the day. Lead cars that are left on the lead lap. We got 18. I think all 18 drivers still have a shot at this race. There's a lot of them. I think Michael Goodman might be the one that I'm kind of concerned about, as he's been in pit road 4 times. That's very concerning. Chad Frankenfield somehow is in the top 10 after pitting 6 times. Still probably has some damage to repair, but still out there. So, oh boy, this is going to be a wild one. Well, they're stacking up. We're getting ready to go. Jordan, more drivers that drop off, the more that this race should clean up. Pace truck is off as we are coming to 31 laps to go. As just like that, Andrew Alexander Van de Sande going to be taking the lead. Tyler Fode now moving up to second place. Barbery's going to be moving up to fourth, he thought. Just like that, Jeff Green going to be stuck in the middle. It's now Vincent Isabella. And also Barbery's going to be right there. They're funneling into the corner, trying to figure out where they're going to be placing themselves. And Jeff Green somehow sneaking his way through and going to be moving up to third place. That's side by side. For fourth on and back, they continue to stay side by side. Barbery's going to be able to get through. That's Talon. He'll be trying that outside lane, trying to follow suit with the 46, but he's got Isabella Sweeting on the inside. Chad Frankenfield as well. Isabella is probably in the most precarious spot because you just see that truck. It is completely kinked sideways entering these corners, and if he puts too much wheel into it, he's going to be sending himself around. And when you spin, as Jeff Green gets loose out of turn 2, it will hold on, but goes to the inside wall and will drop from third all the way back to 10th place. Well, now he has just got wadded up. There's too many cars in front of Jeff Green, now just stuck in no man's land compared to the rest of the field that have been there most of the race. But man, this is so difficult to try to make any types of passes. We're down to 18 drivers left on the lead lap, and everyone is just scattered on where they're at. Alexander Van de Sande, where he is running, the next car that he has to worry about is Jake Palmer. Palmer could be the next car, possibly to go a lap down. He is running extremely low, heavy damage for the 39 machine. But up front, Barbery gets out of shape, almost into Chuck Sweeting, and everyone is trying to put so much wheel into these corners that they're not really doing a great job flicking the trucks into these corners. Flicking is when you slightly turn your car into the outside wall, and then you hard turn into the inside, trying to get the car to really rotate and get moving forward. Gerald Campbell, who moved all the way back to 17th place in one moment to pit, make sure he had enough fuel to make it to the end. That 9 machine is now up to 7th place, and it really has been cooking through the middle of the course. He's found speed where everyone else is struggling, and that's because he's been working the outside lane and dropping down into the middle, and it works when you're trying to get momentum off the corners. Man, is it terrifying at times, as everyone is just so scattered, and it's rough as looking to figure out who that was. I think that was Richard Hines. Richard Kozlov, after a lot of damage. He's been running low. Man, this has been wild to see. Jordan doing a great job showing the leader. Jordan, if we drop back to the battle that's going on for 4th place, it just is incredible as drivers from 4th on back continue to just be on top of one another. Vincent Isabella, one of those drivers that continues to just make me nervous because of the way that he has just been attacking these corners. If he puts too much wheel and he finds himself spinning around, the truck does not just go down to the inside. This is not a self-cleaning track in the dirt. It actually just, when you spin around, you stop where you're at. If anything, you might drift up into the outside wall, that's where all the drivers have been running. So you do not want to be that car that spins around and gets yourself in trouble. And as I say that, we almost had trouble, as it looked like that of Austin Beer getting a little bit out of shape. Hank Steinmiller now going to be able to make some moves. Gerald Campbell actually was that truck that got completely out of shape, and continuously everyone worried on where their car is. Lap traffic now becoming a major issue to worry about, because now you're telling lap traffic, stay low, get out of my way. The outside lane is where I want to be. 20 laps to go for these drivers, and it is just continuously ticking down. Alexander Van de Sande, ever since he got the lead, he has not looked back, and I called it back when he got the lead about 20 laps into this race. There was most likely no one else that was going to catch up to this 97 machine, just because of the way that this track evolves. Once you get past 30 laps, you really are stuck to the outside, and if you're close enough, then you full send it for a slide job. But most of the time, you are just not close enough to make any of these passes so far. But correct's going to be happening, drivers scattering, and it looks like it's Chad Frankenfield going to be in this one. Jeff Green, it looks like, coming out of 2, getting involved with the 15 machine. And we'll get a replay of this. 15 of Chad Frankenfield, he's been involved in a lot of carnage. But just coming out of 2, Jeff Green gets his car straightened out a little bit, but that's the difficult thing of trucks, is you are constantly trying to save these trucks off the exit. And when you are, your truck just starts to drift down, and you're constantly trying to catch it to keep it straight. It's extremely difficult. And I don't think the admins see what I saw, because they're actually black flagging Jeff Green because of that incident. That's just a racing incident. If you know dirt track racing, you know that is how you try to catch your truck, is sometimes you just it's completely out of control. You don't have a chance to save it. Some of these wrecks that we've seen on entry, those have been way more really more ill candidates than what that was right there. Coming off the corner, it's such a struggle at times. But I'm not the admins. I'm not getting tagged with these. But Jeff Green goes to the back of the line with an EOL. Oh boy. The field continues to dwindle down, but I don't think we're going to be dwindling too much after that wreck. No one hit Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield really didn't hit much. So we will be seeing how this field goes down. We are actually coming close to 15 laps to go. Holy moly, this race is almost over. And the driver that's slowly been making his charge forward, Chuck Sweeting. I mean, a great job for himself. Chuck Sweeting, I mean, you'll look at where these drivers started this race to where they are now. Incredible to see. As it's been a wild race for a lot of these guys. Not sure my information slightly off, so I'm not able to see where they started. But another victim to the DNF, that's going to be Scott Crump, who is running up in our top 10 most of the race. Got involved the second, I think a caution or two cautions ago, and he just has not been able to rebound. He'll be finishing, looks like, back in 27th position. A lot more other cars have joined him in the fray. I mean, Kendall Noah Player has joined as well. Whirls joined in the DNF terrain. Westergreen, he was not able to get his truck repaired. So it continues to drop down on how many trucks are left in this race. But really not surprised. It's such a difficult course. The more and more it gets beaten up, and you lose where the moisture is and where the grip's at to really get your truck moving around this course and not just completely spinning out. But this is going to be a crazy one for these drivers here. It's got word. We've only got one green-white checkered for this race. So, I got a feeling we're going to need that green-white checkered. But like I said, we do have a race next week. That is going to be at Atlanta for the BYRD Racing 175. Big thanks to Signing Day Sports for joining us for the Signing Day Sports Bristol Dirt Race here tonight. And we'll see, will this be our final caution, or will we have another one? Pace truck is off for green, and it's going to be Alexander Van Esson taking us to turn number 1, and immediately the yellow comes out, so I was wrong. So wrong. That's going to be Brody Moore. Brody Moore, lap car, self-spinning. I think his engine blew. I think that's what happened. He tried to get back on the throttle. Yeah, you gotta try to get back on the throttle, and it completely just blew up on him. Ooh. Well, you hate to see wrecks happen like that. But, talked about maybe that was gonna be their final caution. I was extremely wrong on that call. So, we'll wait and see. The drivers getting racked up again. And now we're gonna be having less than 10 laps to go with that caution and the timing of it. And now the pressure is on. For those drivers that are around 10th place on back, your chances of winning this race are not looking good. It's very slim unless someone up front completely makes a mistake and wrecks the whole entire field. But it's not looking like that's going to happen. Alexander Van Esson, he's in the driver's seat of this one, where it's his race to lose. If he can get a great restart, no one is going to touch this 97 machine. Tyler Fody has to be on it, trying to time when we've been seeing the 97 take off, and trying to figure out that timing so that he knows, hey, I need to take off at this point. Been seeing a pattern here. Has he picked up on the pattern of the 97 of Alexander Van Esson? We'll see on this next restart. We're now at 10 laps to go. Drivers are still pacing around, and huge thanks to Old Testament Firearms for being the primary sponsor, and as well to C2 Freight's resources for picking up and dropping off all of your resources that you need. And then also to Richmar Florists whenever you need flowers at the surprise time or even in planned time, you should look up Richmar Florist. They've got you, and they've also been a part of racing for quite a long time. I want to give huge thanks to Richmar Florist, and then also our sponsor here tonight for last week's race at Sonoma here at Bristol. It's the Signing Day Sports Bristol Dirt Race, and they are Signing Day Sports. It's a platform that allows parents and players to control their own recruiting. It's launched back in 2020 and currently has 2,000 players on its platform. Signing Day Sports is for recruiting and program management. It's all really being used by over 500 colleges, 700 high schools. And in addition to football, Signing Day Sports is about to add baseball, softball, soccer, and basketball in these upcoming months. I mean, for me back in high school, this would have been so useful to have to try to figure out how to get into a college and try to get myself recruited possibly to a college. That's if I kept on playing sports in high school, but it didn't work out. But for you all that still are in high school or in college trying to get to the next level of sporting, check out Signing Day Sports. They can really help you out if you are not being recruited the way that you want to. Make yourself be the best recruiter that you can be, setting yourself up for the next level. Thank you so much for Signing Day Sports. As drivers are lined up, ready to go, we're coming to 7 laps to go when we go green here at the Bristol Dirt Race. It's been a wild one, a lot of carnage, and we're down to the final 18 drivers on the lead lap. Who has a chance to get this done? We'll see. Alexander Van Asson gets ready for the green, and away he goes. Tyler Fode not able to follow suit very well. Chuck Sweeting now is at the 40 trucks bumper and has a chance to stick it on the outside, but just not able to get up to speed. And Chuck Sweeting really bogged down through the center of the corner, and that's going to now force Vincent Isabella to slow down as he'll continue to drop back. Man, Alexander, just what a great launch for himself, continuing to move along. And it just looks like Fode wall riding, stuck in the wall, not able to get off. Now it's going to be Barbary, going to be trying to follow suit. Ryan Barbary, haven't really talked about it much, as they're going to be collected back from 5th on back. They are scattering, Fode gets in contact, and they are really wrecking now on the backstretch, as it is a parking lot once again. There's at least 4 cars with blown engines, and that's possibly putting us in a green-white checkered situation. Well, replay time. Jordan, you've been doing a great job. And you can see just so many what the heck? Talon, hold the brake. I did not notice that. Talon did not hold the brake at all, and put more cars in spots that they don't want to be in. And now, if you've got a blown engine, your day is done. There's not enough time to get repairs done to get back out there. But yeah, Harrison Talon, you're wrecked. Hold the brake. I mean, that is rule number 1. And that is frustrating to see, even as a spectator. As you're seeing other cars are trying to avoid, there's not enough grip to avoid as you would on asphalt, and now cars are done. Well, the 08, his engine is blown, and we'll keep our eye out on the tracker to see more drivers, because we're expecting a lot just to park it for the day and say, hey, that was a good run for myself. Fode certainly did not want to drop as far back as he did, but he's now going to have to deal with what he's got. And we wait and see. That is going to be the lucky dog driving around our leaders, and that would be Zach Evans. Evans, 7 laps down, accidentally had one of probably the worst moments you could ask for dirt racing here at Bristol, is being sent into the pit road and getting caught speeding because you were spun in there, and then he's got to deal with all that issues. Holy moly. I just noticed there are about 3 or 4 cars with blown engines in the back half of the field, just making it a smoke party back here. And they're going to have to come down, most likely, with that smoke. They've got a meatball, which is a required damage that needs to get repaired before you can get back out on track. Expecting those drivers to get that done, and it is official. This will be our final restart, ladies and gentlemen. Green, white, checkered. Alexander Van Asson in the best spot that he could be. Ryan Barbary going to be trying his best to get by that of the 97. Chuck Sweeting's been in 3rd place for most of these restarts. It's got to be frustrating, stuck on the inside. Vincent Isabella, who notoriously is known at short tracks, doesn't matter where he starts, he always ends up in the top 10 by the end of these things. Gerald Campbell Gerald Campbell had to work his way throughout most of the field. Tyler Fody, he was up front, had to drop back. Chad Frankfield, another one of those drivers, heavy damage, had to come into pit road a lot in the beginning parts of this race, up to 7th place. Austin Beer, haven't seen him up front at all this race. Great run for himself. Hank Steinmiller, we've seen him up front. Alec Balavance as well. Jeff Green had an EOL. He's up to 11th. But you got 2 laps to get this done. There's a chance that we could be seeing a green right when we take the restart. And this is where Alexander Van de Sande feels comfortable. He has not faced the 46 at all on these restarts and has to feel good that he's going to be able to get a great launch on the 46 and pull away from the rest of the field. 100 laps have been ran. We're going to finish with 102. We had 3 heat races, and now it's time to see who's going to be winning here for the Signing Day Sports Dirt Race tonight. For the featured race, Alexander Van de Sande giving us to the green. A great launch for the 97 machine as they come across the line. This is it, our one attempt at a green, white, checkered. And here comes the 97, going to be on the outside, going to be trying to pull away as they're already scattering behind them, continuously dropping back. That's going to be the 9. They're already wrecking on the back stretch, but they're going to be keeping it green. This is an admin called cautions, and they're not calling it yet. Vincent Isabella bumping there, not Ryan, up a little bit, but Alexander Van de Sande coming to the white flag, and he'll have a major lead, and Ryan Barbery's just not close enough. He needs to be a little bit closer. The better launch coming from Barbery. It's his last chance. Will the 46 just send it here? He goes extremely low. Will he door bang the 97 to get the win? Barbery trying to get the launch off the corner. Has he done it? But here it comes. Ryan did it. Ryan Barbery, it looked like he was too far, but by 200ths of a second, he gets the win after a fabulous slide job. Didn't get into Van de Sande, but got enough ahead of the 97 to get the win. Oh my goodness. Vincent Isabella is going to be getting 3rd place. Tyler Fody going to be getting 4th. And then Austin Beer, 5th place. Jeff Green somehow got up to 7th. Oh my goodness. Darter up to 8th. What? Dylan Jones up to 9th. Gerald Campbell able to drop back, but you see there the rest of the running order. Holy moly. What a move. Once we're done looking at the final results, we'll take another replay of that finale as Ryan is still burning it down. But we got to take another look of that final pass by the 46. That was incredible. Thought maybe, we'll push it back to the backstretch because I thought maybe this thing was done coming to the white flag, but all the factors that came in was coming out of 2. Ryan got a much better launch out of the corner as Van de Sande, he was still sideways once Barbery was straight, and that gave him the chance. Barbery sending it low and trying to slide up, wasn't able to, but was far enough ahead that Alexander Van de Sande wasn't able to get to the throttle and across the line. The 46 nose just ahead. Wow. Ryan Barbery, what a finish for the 46 machine here for the Signing Day Bristol Dirt Race. Now doing a Polish lap for the fans. Woo, baby, that was a good one. And man, now I get to talk to our final 3 as they are all funneling in to the waiting room. Congratulations to Vincent Isabella, who I thought might have thrown away a top 3 finish for the 42 machine after really being aggressive on that first lap of the green-white checkered, but able to hold on. A lot of carnage started happening as they continued to fall back. And man, oh man, that was an exciting one. Cannot wait to get interviews from Vincent Isabella's point of view because he was in the middle of all that carnage for most of this race. Ryan was patient. And it looks like we've got at least 2 of the 3. We'll actually just bring up 3rd place runner Vincent Isabella, and hopefully 2nd place Alexander Van de Sande will be coming in. But let's get a word here from Vincent Isabella. Vincent, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Vincent, green-white checkered attempt. Was there anything else you possibly could have done there to maybe fight off the front 2?
Wreck him. That's about it. I gave it everything I had without wrecking him. Just ran him clean. Try not to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, Vincent, you probably had one of the craziest nights for a lot of the drivers out here. You had to drive through the field a bit. You were 3, 4 wide at times. Tell us about those moments. What was it like being 3, 4 wide here at this dirt track?
We shouldn't have been 3 or 4 wide. It was definitely crazy, and I hope we come back to at least some sort of dirt track with these. It was really the most fun I've had in this league in a while.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see a couple of decent green flag runs, 5 to 10 laps early on, and then once we got moving along, it got a little bit more hectic. When you started to see the track evolve a lot, what was going through your mind, and how were you changing up your attack at this track?
Well, a lot of guys were riding right up against the fence, and when it slicked off, I was just able to ride like a groove lower than them, so it was actually, I had that bottom, the slick rolling, but I'll definitely take a third place finish. Wasn't expecting it.
I mean, whenever I watch you race, Vincent, it seems like if you're able to survive to the final 15 laps, you're up there in the top 10 or top 5, and a great run for yourself. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, all the boys at ID Racing, I know, big shout out to Austin Beers. He finished 5th, so he'll keep that. He's up in the top 4 in points. Shane Diamantova Designs on the truck, and Drunk with Bud's podcast. I know they're not on the truck, but they sponsor me in another league here.
Well, Vincent, a great run for yourself, and we race next week. For Atlanta. Good luck at Atlanta. I know it's completely different from what you were running tonight, and we'll see if you can carry this momentum into next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And now we're going to be talking to the man who felt like this race might have been stolen from him in a final corner pass to Alexander Van Asson. Alex, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
I got you.
Well, you won last week. You come into this race with the most momentum. You were leading most of it, and then a green-white checkered. Send us and talk to us. What were those final 2 laps like for you?
Just trying to hang on. I mean, I don't know what happened. Like, I think the bottom line was much stronger than I expected there. But yeah, I just couldn't keep it smooth in those last 2 laps. Like I could all the times before that. But so, oh well. I mean, I had a blast. So congrats to Ryan for the win. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, it looked like you were up front dominating for most of this race once you got the lead. Did you have a lot of practice coming into this race, or did you kind of just wing it once you came into today's practice?
Yeah, I had about 5 or 6 official races, so same setup and everything, but 50 laps. So those kind of helped a bit. Running up front here was much cleaner than any of the official races, though, so... I was able to really get a feel for how the track was going to change and be able to anticipate and adapt to that, and that's what got me the lead in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, for you certainly, I thought you were going to win this race for sure, and then Ryan came out of nowhere. Did you ever think of sending it low to try to block that slide job that Ryan was going to do there at the end?
I did. I just didn't see it coming, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I would probably do over if I could, or do differently if I could do that over. But yeah. Oh well. I knew it was going to be a risk if I tried to send it low. Like I was able to do it a bit in practice, but not consistently. So maybe, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, a great run for yourself with this finish. It should put you back. Should put you on top of the standings. So certainly a lot of momentum on your side. We're going to Atlanta next week, and it's going to be exciting. But before we let you go, Alex, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, big thank you to lmseeger.com, Race First Broadcasting, as well as Happy Trails Chili Company.
That's Alexander Van Asson coming out in second place, and good luck next week at Atlanta.
Thanks, fellas.
And now we're going to be bringing Ryan up into the booth. The man that decided to really send it going into corner number 3 and 4. Ryan, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, Sam. How you doing?
Oh, my goodness. What a move on your part. green, white, checkered, what was going through your mind right before you went green for that final attempt?
Actually, I was talking to Turnquist and Harrison there through like the last 20 laps, just saying, I'm going to hit this line through 3 and 4. It's looking like it's coming in. There's still grip there. And every time I hit it, it seemed like I was just pulling. So, it came down to the last lap. I had to run, so I just had to try it. Luckily it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of the closest finishes you could ask for at dirt. I mean, what a run for you. 0.02 of a second, just nosing out Alexander there. Were you surprised at all that didn't try to block you by trying to send it and block you from doing that move?
Yeah, but I was watching him for a few laps up there, and I knew he was getting comfortable up top. So once I seen that he was going up top in 1 and 2, I kind of knew in 3 and 4 that's what he was going to do because that's where he was comfortable. So I just had to try to make something work on the bottom. I knew they really didn't see it because I didn't really see anyone else trying to run that line. So I just threw it in there, hoped it worked, tried to stay off him. I don't think I touched him until after the start-finish line, so it seemed like a clean finish to me. Hopefully he feels the same way. It was a great time running with him.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that you guys kept it as clean as you did up front. Thought maybe there was going to be a lot more bumping and maybe shoving him into the wall. But you did it as clean as possible, very much. I've got a ton of respect to you, Ryan. Most of this race, though, you were sitting around 5th, 6th position, and you were in front of a lot of the carnage behind you. How was it trying to stay patient and know that you were going to be moving up to the front just slowly?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't even going to run this race tonight because I didn't know how it was going to work out. But once I got in here, I just thought, stay patient, try to stay out of all the carnage that's going to happen, just try to stand out of the wall. Luckily, it worked out, and I never thought I was going to be in the position I was, but came down to a green, white, checkered. I was in 2nd place, got the run on him, and just made it work.
Well, Ryan, it was a great run for you, and congratulations on this win. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, I just want to thank Ryan Lutz. I know he's not running tonight. Usually in this league, this is, if he's in the field, it's hard to beat him. But I just want to give him a shout-out. I know it's his birthday, so happy birthday to him. Want to give a shout-out to all the Lake Norman guys, Fody. I know Hank had a tough night. Rish had a tough night. We all had a tough night. Turnquist had a tough night, but we all fought. We all got decent finishes, it looks like. So I just want to thank all the Lake Norman guys, Lutz, as I say, because he got me in here. So that's all I got to say. Thanks, man.
Congratulations, Ryan, on the win, and good luck if you do show up for next week at Atlanta.
I appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You tell. Well, just like that, 100 laps, 3 heat races, it's all over. A great run for everyone here in the Old Testament Firearms Truck Series. A big thanks to a lot of our primary sponsors. I mean, we had Signing Day Sports being on for the Signing Day Sports Dirt Race, and also for C2's Freight Resources, as well as Richmar Florist, and all of the other amazing sponsors we have here for all of the different leagues that we do here on the Elite Racing League. For us tonight, like I said, my name is Sam Dyer, doing all the productions, behind the scene work. Jordan Owens, great job on his part. It was a long night for us, but it continues on throughout the week. Continue to stay on board with the Elite Racing League Network, the Elite Racing Network, as it is going to be very crazy throughout the week. Can't wait to watch more of the racing action. Stay tuned, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see you next week at Atlanta for